Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us. Wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings that we can please this wonderful devotee, Lochan Das Thakur. It's his appearance day today. And hopefully we'll get on to the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. Sorry? Oh, yes. Today we want to dedicate the satsang to Anjali Mataji. Unfortunately, she passed away this morning at 5:40 in hospital, but she was surrounded by her family, so that's a good thing. She was a great support to us. She was always with us and always giving
Hare
her...
Krishna Prabhuji?
Yes.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's Anjali.
Gita's mom.
Gita's mother.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So we dedicate this satsang to her.
Oh.
Okay. And how is Gita doing?
Not good. Not good. So,
Oh, yeah, of course
She's
she's
home?
not good.
Gita's at home.
yeah. So, Lochan Das Thakur appeared in 1520, 34 years after the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was quite young when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world. But he had, anyway, we'll come to it. Lochan Das Thakur wrote a biography on Mahaprabhu entitled Chaitanya Mangal. He wrote many devotional songs, and the song that we sang, or Karuna sang at the beginning, is one of the songs that he has sang, which is glorifying Chaitanya Nityananda. He took birth in a family of physicians, and they resided in Gogram, which is near the Katna district of Bardhaman. His guru was Narahari Sarkar Thakur, who we've talked about before, extraordinary personality, very close associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said in one of his books, or in fact in the Chaitanya Mangal, I am a servant of Thakur Shri Narahari, who is the master of my life, the desire of my desires. I place at his lotus feet, which is that this wild creature, myself, might describe something about the wonderful qualities of Sri Gauranga. In this expectation, he is my only refuge. His father's name was Kamalakara Das, mother's name Sadananda. And he was the only son of the parents. He was raised in his maternal grandfather's home, and his education was also completed there. When he was a little boy, he enjoyed the good fortune of meeting the devotees of Gauranga. So he didn't meet Lord Chaitanya, but he met the devotees. He was married at a young age. From his young youth, he was very attached to Gauranga, and consequently very disinterested in material life, though he was surrounded by family, friends, and society. In his youth, he spent the majority part of his time at his guru's home in Shrikand, where he learned how to do kirtan. So the book he composed, Chaitanya Mangal, was from the diary of Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was a close associate of Lord Chaitanya. And he wrote that in Sanskrit. It was called Chaitanya Charit Amritam. So then this is, again, he's written this in his book, Chaitanya Mangal. Murari Gupta, who resides at Nadia, composed many beautiful verses about the life of Gauranga. These include the youthful pastimes of Nimai, which Murari Gupta personally took part in, and his later pastimes in Nilachal after he accepted sannyas, which were narrated by Dharmodar Pandit. Having heard these verses of Murari Gupta composed in Sanskrit, I have become very attracted, and so I have composed them in the village folk poetry meter of Bengali. So he was actually a poet and a singer. So the way Chaitanya Mangal has been written is in a meter called Panchali. Previously in Bengal, the poets used to compose sacred songs and verses in different forms of classical rhymes and rhythmic meters. You know, he's younger to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was born, so he came 1486, and he came 1520, so 34 years later. And Mahaprabhu only stayed 48 years.
8 years old.
Yeah. 48 years old. So 34, 12 years. He was 12 years old when Mahaprabhu finished his pastimes in this world. So he didn't meet Mahaprabhu. So anyway, he composed this Chaitanya Mangal in this Panchali style. So it's very poetic if one is into Bengali, of course. So Lochan Das told Mahaprabhu's pastimes in beautiful poetry filled with fire and rhythm. Common people could easily understand the divine character of Chaitanya and awaken their religious feelings, especially after reading this book. As devotees regularly chant the Vedic epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Gaudiya Vaishnavas still wander through Bengal reciting the Chaitanya Mangal. And I think it was one of the books which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati liked to ask his devotees to recite very regularly. In the Chaitanya Mangal, Lochan Das Thakur tells many pastimes of Chaitanya not revealed by Vrindavan Das Thakur or Krishna Das Kaviraj. So both of these devotees were responsible for different biographies of Chaitanya, and Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Krishna Das Kaviraj wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Lochan Das, he wrote things which are in neither book. Especially, he wrote about a touching conversation between Gauranga and Vishnupriya, his wife, his Dharmapatni, the night before he took sannyas. So it'd be interesting to read this at some point. Lochan Das Thakur also wrote many songs praising Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, and Gauri Das Pandit. He stressed that Raganuk Bhaktas must take shelter of Gadadhar Vrindavaneshwari to attain Radha Govind Prema Bhakti. So Gadadhar and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to print and distribute Lochan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Mangal. Prabhupada was very fond of his bhajans. While singing Parama Karuna, which is what we sang, Prabhupada would plunge into an ocean of Gaura Prema. Vrindavan Das Thakur's composition on the pastimes of Gauranga was originally entitled Chaitanya Mangal, but later on the name was changed to Chaitanya Bhagavat. Those pastimes which were not described by Vrindavan Das Thakur were described by Lochan Das. And in the preface to Chaitanya Mangal, he offers his prayers to Vrindavan Das Thakur. I offer my prayers of submission to Vrindavan Das Thakur with all my heart. The sweet song of his Chaitanya Bhagavat has enchanted the whole world. And his samadhi is in the 64 samadhi area in Vrindavan. This is the tree where he composed this wonderful Chaitanya Mangal in Katwa. Katwa is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So that's the end of the pastime. Anybody want to ask anything or share anything about Chaitanya Mangal? Sorry, Lochan Das.
Very, very nice.
Thank you so much, young man. Okay, so Lochan Das Thakur ki jai.
Kaushalya?
They
Hare Krishna. Kaushalya, Mataji?
Ask you something.
Yes, Mataji.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how old was he when he went to Krishna Loka back?
48. He stayed in this world 48 years.
That's all?
That's all.
Oh, I see. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, short time. But in
Yeah,
that short time, it was glorious, of course.
definitely, yes.
Okay, so